Here we go.
All right. We should be unmuted, so people should
Hopefully
be able
everyone can hear
to see
us.
I have to switch back and forth.
Okay.
So yes, eventually we will be able to see. Hello.
Hello.
All right. So I'm just gonna bounce back and forth around here for a second, guys.
Just make sure everything's going where we want it to go.
All right. So we have
boot me off.
I not intentionally. All right. This is definitely a challenge. Full screen.
So are you guys ready to have some fun? Because we certainly are. We're not at all stressed about doing this all live, and we're going to have a good time.
Right? You have your mic? I got my mic.
I did, but I clipped it to the sweater that I just took off, so I need to move that because that wasn't very smart. So let's try that again.
All right. So it is National Serge month. Holy cripe.
It's April, everybody.
It's
Can you
April.
believe it's already April? So we have a whole lot of stuff to share with you, and we have absolutely no idea how long this is going to take.
Right. Or
so
how it's going to present.
How all this is going to work.
Yes.
So we've got lots of things. We've got videos, and we've got slides, and we prepped a lot of stuff. So we're really hoping it's all going to come together like we want it to.
Right.
Fingers crossed,
Fingers
everybody.
Crossed. It's live, and I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. So just so everybody is aware,
if she can't figure it out, I haven't touched any of this. So
definitely,
if she can't find it, we're all going to be SOL.
It's
so
a surprise. Yes, Holly's watching
Downtown Milan. I like Downtown Milan.
And we are going to be open from tomorrow from 10 until 3, our normal hours. We are still here until 5 today. Obviously, if you call or you come in, we're in the corner.
We're going to be occupadoed.
Yes, but Hayden is here, and Tony is here, and Karen is in
to help out
because the phone always rings as soon as we
start this,
and my phone is sitting
right next to me as well.
Yes, of
just
course
like always, guys,
except for when it's ringing during the day, right? I never have
we never have it anywhere near us. So yeah,
yes, it's crazy. Look at somebody's watching us from Kansas City.
Why is that all over the place? That's awesome. So thank you so much for joining, and welcome to Sip and Serge 2021.
Right.
So scary. We have, like I said, a whole lot of stuff to share with you. And we've got some live stitching that we're going to do. We've got samples already stitched that we're going to show you. Absolutely. And we've got some videos of us stitching.
Good evening from the UK.
Wow, I feel honored. We're all the
so
way across the pond.
I know.
That is so fantastic. So thank you all for joining us. We hope that we all enjoy this.
Yeah, we missed Sip and Serge last year.
We did miss Sip and Serge last year
because of COVID.
It just didn't happen. We had some great packages, and then it just kind of went poof, and it was gone, and so, nothing got to happen. So
it's super important that we do a really good job.
No stress or anything, because
right,
it's all good.
And if you've ever watched a live with Lisa and I, you know that we usually just wing it.
We don't sketch. We actually have cards. We're going to attempt to make sure we don't forget anything today. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't.
So we have tried to we're going to try to keep on task.
We are going to try to keep on task, because with everything we have to show you, it's still going to be
probably a couple hours.
We're looking at a
hour and a half
hours.
to 2.
Yeah, we're probably looking at 2. We're going to hope to not go over that time frame. So this is the welcome from Sarah and myself. But we also have a really great, very entertaining from our perspective video of Gene.
Yes.
So Gene is the owner here at LeBou Sewing Center, and he is not back yet from his winter vacay.
Right.
And so he was here for just a short week. He had a grandbaby born. So he
did.
was up, and we had him record this video while he was here. So that's the first thing that we're going to share with you. And he's going to talk, say hi and all that jazz, but he's going to show you from a mechanics standpoint, because, he's the one that always, not always, he and Tony are back there working on the machines when you guys do bring them in. So they have a little bit different view than Sarah and I have on how the machines go. So here comes Mr. Gene.
All right, so let's see if I can get it.
Let's see if it works, guys.
On
Fingers
the
crossed.
screen.
Hello, I'm Gene, and I'm the owner here at LeBou Sewing Center. And I'd like to welcome you to our virtual 2021 Sip and Serge event. Lisa and Sarah have asked me to create a short video explaining to you why we think that Babylock is the only serger to own. So we only have about 10 minutes, so we're going to concentrate today purely on the most important reasons. And there are several other reasons why you would want to own a Babylock serger. Many of them will be covered later in the Sip and Serge event. And of course, you can come in anytime you like and get a full demonstration from any one of us, and hopefully decide Babylock is for you. So anyway, on with the serger. So for me, the most important thing is threading. So today we only have one serger in front of me, but Babylock has 5 sergers that have auto threading systems. You may have heard that sergers are difficult to use. Typically, people are talking about threading when they're talking about that. So what we have with all Babylock self-threading sergers or air threading sergers are what are called tubed loopers, making life considerably easier, assuring that you don't have any thread breakage or tangling. You do not have to have any rules. Thread this looper first, thread this looper second, any of those kinds of things. Basically, there are 2 kinds of air threading sergers. One is what's called jet air threading. It will have a little lever right here that we can push down, and that pulse of air will send the thread through the machine, same way the motor will with what I have in front of me today is an Acclaim. This style of threading is called extraordinaire. In the interest of time, we're simply going to show you this one today. So first things first, when the machine is in serging mode, this lever is up and serging, and we have the ability to step on the pedal and off she'll go. To put it into threading mode, you literally push the switch down, turn the hand wheel, and the machine will, when you hear a click, be ready to go. When you're in the threading mode, you have a motor here that will thread the loopers, and in 2 of the sergers, you actually have the ability to bring this down, push the needle threading, literally put the thread in front of the needles, it'll suck it through, you're done, and even people who can't see like me can thread a needle. So back to the loopers, and again, it does not matter which one you thread first, but to actually thread the looper, all you need to do is put the thread down into the hole. I like to kind of ooch it and scooch it down in there just a little bit. Figures I would have hands that want to fight me a little bit today, and off we go. So by pushing this button, the thread flies through, and you literally are done threading, in this case, the lower looper. Really hard to tell because it has an L there. That's the one people think is the hardest to thread. Bam, we're done. To do the upper looper is just as easy. What we're going to do is put the thread down into the hole that says U, and thread. You have the upper looper threaded, and you literally are done. So for years, Babylock was the only serger that had an air threading type of system, and that has changed recently. I believe the patents have run out, and some other companies have picked up on air threading. They're not quite as reliable as the Babylock, but they do air thread. So to me, air threading is wonderful, but maybe the more important part of the machine is the ability to be able to do a auto type of tension. So in the old days, or even today, when we talk about tension systems, what you have is you have discs that basically push together, and the more harder you push on it, the more tension you get. The lighter you push on it, the less tension you get. Those are susceptible to lots of different things, up to and including they have to be adjusted based on what kind of stitch that you're doing. Some days it works better than others, but they always have to be adjusted. You also have the problem of threads, how thick is the thread, and slubs or chunks of thread, if you will, getting caught between the tension discs and creating the ability for them not to close and not give you a good solid tension. In a Babylock serger, what we have what is known as an automatic thread delivery system. And we are still the only serger in the market that gives you an automatic thread delivery system. The best way I can explain it is to use my hands here. So as you thread the machine, the threads drop between levers. Whether you're on A, or it moves a little. When you're on B, it moves more, so on and so forth. And you get perfect tension simply by selecting A, B, C, or D. Little chart comes with it, and I'm going to show you how that works with just a couple of basic stitches. So let's move back over to the serger. We're currently set up for a 4-thread serge. So we have 2 needles into the machine, both of our looper threads in. Our chart would tell us that we need to be on switch A. In order to actually serge, we're going to need to bring the switch back up to serger. Babylock has given us all kinds of safeties so that if we close our door and we have forgotten to do that, it won't close. So bring her back up to serge, close, and you're ready to go. So to do a 4-thread serge, all we're going to do is take our material, put it underneath the presser foot, step on the controller, and off we go. So neat. What I changed there was the stitch length. Chain off, never will it jam, cut up underneath, and you have an absolutely perfect stitch on either side. In fact, I'll guarantee you, if you do not have a perfect tension, no matter what kind of thread you're using in this serger, it's because you are not on the correct switch, A, B, C, or D. So to do a 3-thread or a rolled hem, some people panic at this point in time, but all we need to do up here on our side, we have a little compartment. Inside there's a screwdriver. We're going to remove our left needle. I'm going to cut that thread. I like to take the thread out of the machine as well, just so that we don't have the opportunity for the threads to get jammed or broken up inside the machine. So to do a 3-thread serge narrow, we use the right needle. Our chart would tell us, put it on B. Ta-da, you're done. Off we go. And we have, whether it's 1 layer, 2 layer, or 10 layers, an absolutely perfect 3-thread stitch. Our tensions are absolutely ideal and perfect all the way through. To go to a rolled hem, no changing of plates, no anything. All you're going to do, right down here, we have a stitch length control. One side said roll hem, one side says standard serge. We're going to turn our knob. I like to go to 1, 2 clicks. That's just the stitch length that I like to use. It's very important that we remember to change it to D. Ta-da, off we go. It will not matter whether you have a nylon thread, standard thread, or any other decorative thread. The thread delivery system will assure you that you will get perfect tension, ideal roll counts, no matter what kind of thread that you use. So if I show you the front or the back, it's consistent and absolutely perfect every single time, just simply by switching from A to B to D, whatever the chart tells us that we need to be able to do. That is still very unique of a Babylock serger and makes them extremely accurate. So you may know that I'm the repair guy here, and in those terms, I like to talk about strength and durability. If you want to be able to, once you buy a machine from us, you're going to be able to take full lessons on it. Those will be conducted by either Sarah or by Lisa. Probably Sarah, but either one can do the job really well. For our purposes today, however, I'd like to talk about the other aspects of the Babylock serger that make us believe it's the only one to own. So not only do we have the tube loopers, the super easy threading system that some of the other companies have today, we also have the highest quality parts all the way throughout the entire machine. The loopers themselves are stainless steel, and they are driven by what's known as a looper drive system, which is still unique to the Babylock serger. Since we're running out of time, I'm going to make it super easy for you today. Basically, what it boils down to is most sergers have non-stainless steel loopers, but also where they connect inside the machine, you'll have a shaft, a round shaft, and the screw will go in and tighten up. What happens is they slip, they go out of time. There's nothing to assure that the machine cannot be knocked out of time, no matter how heavy of a fabric that you work with. So in a Babylock serger, one of the easy ways to explain the looper drive system is that a flat spot would be milled into the shaft. The screw bites right into the flat spot. It's impossible to knock it out. Because of that, we can sew much thicker fabrics in the Babylock serger than we can in any of the other ones. So I had a customer a while ago, and I'm going to wrap it up with this, that had a different brand of serger, and she was continually knocking it out of time. So when it came in for repair and we checked it all out, what we found was that she could only sew about 3.5 millimeters of fabric. That was the max on most of the other brands. What would happen is as the upper looper came up, it would hit the presser foot. So because of the automatic looper drive system, we have the ability to sew almost 7.5 millimeters, over twice as much fabric with the Babylock serger as we do with our competitors. So anyway, for wrapping it up, please feel free to come in for a demonstration anytime that you like. Either Sarah, Lisa, myself, any of us can show you the machines, and enjoy the rest of our 2021 virtual Sip and Serger event. Thank you.
Woohoo! So, Gene had a lot to say. We told him, make it nice and short. He did a great job, though. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. He has lots of information, and he has certainly been working on them for a long time. So he knows how all of those parts work.
Right. Right.
I just like the magic.
I know, right? Whenever you talk to the engineers down there, they always just say it's magic. Nobody will really tell you what happens, but it is magic. It just works.
When I first started working here, Tony brought me in the back. He said, hey, you want to see how these sergers work? And I'm like, I would really love to know how these things work, because, people always ask me, and I'm like, it's just in there. You flip the switch and it works. I don't know. So he comes back and there's these bars literally that are doing this. And I'm like, okay, so how does it work? He goes, it's magic.
Yep.
I'm like, thank you. That was so helpful. But it really is. And it's so wonderful when you don't have to worry about all of those.
Yeah.
So being Serger Month, we do, of course, have some specials that are available. So
we're gonna cut away
pop
from us
up
for a
here
second
real quick with what we've got going on. So there basically is a bundle for the 4 machines that have auto tension and that lovely air threading for your loopers. A couple of them also have air threading in the needles. So the 2 on the
2
left,
ones.
No, the two on the left of the screen, the Triumph and the Acclaim, both have air threading in the needles for that serger, as well as just the loopers. And the 2 on the right have that in the looper, and they do have needle threaders on those machines as well. They're just not air threading.
Absolutely.
So it's all about bundles.
It is.
And
we like bundles.
We like bundles. We know you guys do too. So we came up with some bundles that we were hoping that everybody would like. And the only thing that we don't have on there listed are the cover hem machines. So there are 2 right now that are available, because they actually came out with a new one at the end of last year.
They did.
So unfortunately,
it's so hot.
It's
not like hot to touch, but like
just the moment it walks in the door,
it's gone.
It's gone right back out. So we don't have any of the new ones in stock.
We don't even have a floor model.
We don't even have a floor model.
Been able to keep that in stock.
Nope, don't even have one of those here, unfortunately. But it is on the Triumph frame, so you can imagine it looks quite a bit bigger. But we do have a few of the previous models still available in the store.
You're not muted.
Something
is that better?
Right.
Woo!
That
you
totally
was not what
Sorry
I meant
about
to
that.
Do. Ah, wrong button.
Sorry.
Okay.
Told you it would be an interesting
day.
It is. Lots of buttons going on.
Surprise.
So.
Yeah. There's Janet says, I might need to think about training in my Ovation. There are some really nice additions to the Triumph that they did. There really
are.
Listened.
I personally have an Ovation at home, and as soon as I can take the time to figure out how to do that, I want to get a Triumph. There are some fantastic differences, one of which is the air threading and the needles. And if you guys watch us on Tuesdays, you know that I don't see as well as I used to. So that is a super big help, not having to worry about that.
Yeah.
But the safety features and things that they've built into it are also great because I'm really good at sewing with my foot up.
Right. And so just a really quick, this is it's kind of off topic, but we do take trade-ins. But keep in mind, we're happy to take your trade-in, but we do have to resell it to make money. So I'm going to
unfortunately, that still is the name of the game around here. So we are.
So let's plug the Sew It's for Sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a Facebook group called Sew It's for Sale.
Is it Yahoo?
It used to be Yahoo. I don't think it is anymore. Now now there's a Facebook group that does the same thing. And there's also one just about Babylock. So like Babylock, buy, sell, trade. So I'm telling you, anybody who's thinking about trading in an Ovation for a Triumph,
you can sell it on there.
You will sell it there, and you will sell it quickly, and you will definitely get more
money than we can offer for it, unfortunately, because we have to make money when we resell it.
That's right. So we're happy to take it if you don't want to bother with that. So just to be clear, but there are a lot of places, and these sergers are hot. They are people love them, and they don't tend to stick around for a long time. So that is something that you can think about.
Absolutely.
I think we could make a deal if you have a friend who wants to buy your serger from you, and it's like one of those four or the equivalent. I think if you sell it to your friend, we would adopt your friend.
Absolutely. Happy to adopt. If you bought your serger from us and you have a friend that wants to buy it from you so that you can upgrade, we will absolutely adopt your friend. What that means is classes on how to use it. That's worth big bucks all by itself.
It is.
So we would be more than happy to do so.
Yeah. So we don't do that a lot.
No, we don't really do that a lot because, like we said, we still are a business, and the bottom line is, we want to keep our jobs.
That's right. But Jean's still not back, so
he's still not here yet. So we still have some wiggle room.
That's right. What he doesn't know, he doesn't. Honestly, he doesn't.
He might be watching. I don't know.
Maybe he could be one of the people watching.
He could be.
But anyways, we did get so much for these. Ready?
Here's the first one. There it goes. All right, card number one out of there. All right, so let's show you some of what these machines can do.
Yes.
So we're going to switch the screen around a little bit. We have sitting to my left, but I'm not sure what that looks like for you at this point, is the Triumph, which is the top of the line serger. And to Sarah's right is the Accolade, which is the one step down. Now, both of these are 8-thread sergers.
Right.
If you don't know what that means that they have both cover hem and overlock capabilities. So 5 needle positions and 3 different loopers. So lots of fun can be had with both of these machines.
That's right.
The difference is the throat size. And then again, we talked about, air threading in the needles and safety mechanisms and different things like that. So take it away.
Take it away. All right.
Let's show how we can play with.
Let's see. It's this one.
Yes, it's this one.
Right. So we do have some videos to show you some actual threading in a few minutes, but
we'll get back to that.
That's right. So, but we wanted to show you, I have a bunch of different material here. So I have, this is like some twill canvas stuff. This is regular quilters cotton. I have some really fashionable fleece. And some what is this called?
Stretchy fabric knit.
Yeah, like
stretchy knit.
Athleisure wear. Is that the right word? I don't know.
Stretchy.
It's that stuff that everybody's wearing, right? There we go.
The comfy stuff to wear.
Yeah.
Right?
So we have a few of these things, and I'm gonna just basically sew a 4-thread, and I'm gonna sew a 4-thread on all of these different materials, and we aren't going to do anything. We're just gonna stitch.
So it is set up, like she said, for that 4th thread. The settings are all set. She's not going to change a thing except what kind of fabric she's sewing inside of there.
That's right.
So full disclosure, we've got cameras like literally right in front of the machine, which we are having to reach around to sew. And then, we've got cords coming out the yin yang around here.
Just making sure.
So again, this is that stretchy knit, and it's just flying right in there. The blade's cutting off the excess.
Here I've got fleece next.
Yeah, no changing anything, just sewing.
Quilter's cotton, super skinny.
Much, much thinner than that fleece. But look at that.
And let's do the 4 layers, right?
Why not?
You just got to get it under. And don't cut yourself. So, and I did put my foot down, so I sewed with the foot down on this machine. Fantastic. Here you go.
So there is that beautiful 4 thread,
right?
And that is on 4 layers of canvas.
The one before that was
regular old quilter's cotton, which is 2 thin layers. Look at that beautiful stitch.
2 layers of fleece. And
yeah, unfortunately, Holly, most of us have tried to sew with our foot up.
Super stretchy material, right? And it's perfect.
All the way across.
Right? How great is that? I didn't do anything. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
So, I mean, when I came here from a different brand of sergers, I will tell you how many times
she was really adorable.
It was
She's like, yeah,
hysterical.
I can break it. Don't worry.
Right? I used to teach serger classes, and I would have people who would come in with their Babylock sergers, and I knew nothing about them. And they wouldn't bring their so I didn't even know there was a recipe card then, but they wouldn't bring their recipe card, and they'd be like, "How does this work?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You should get one of these because I can teach you how to change the button.
I can teach you how to
right?
to do the dials." Yeah.
So I think that's like I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And so when I first started here, Tony was like, you can, it's fine. You know, nothing will happen.
Just sew on it.
Just sew on it. You're not going to break it. And I'm like, I don't know. I can break anything.
I can break anything, she says.
Anything. Right? I couldn't. And I would put like woolly nylon in one looper, metallic thread in another one, and then like 2 weird threads in the needle. And I'm like, yeah, it's not going to work.
Boom.
It did
Boom.
every single time. And so the picture of the one that Jean was showing on the screen, it's the Acclaim.
Yep.
And
that's the one you thought you were going to go home with.
I took it home.
Yep.
I took it home to do some samples and do some stitching. And I'm like, I love this. And my husband was like, wow, you didn't there were no bad words. There was no nothing. I'm like, yeah, I definitely need to get one of these. And so I came to work and I was like, yeah, I want the Triumph. And the
go
table
big
to
or
go
go home,
it.
baby. Right?
And I went home and I said to Dave, he's like, that looks different. I'm like, yeah, I just figured there was no point in trading up later. So, but I love the ease of it. So I love that when I sit down at the machine and I sew something, I can just sew it. Right. There's no spending, I would spend hours trying to figure it out or holding my breath that the machine would like the thread that I put in it. And
so
it's no
when
fun.
I started working here, I had never sewn on a serger before. I had no idea what they were all about.
You never worked hard.
I didn't have that bad experience. I take that back. I had sewn some fabric for just like a sheer drape, and my mother-in-law had a serger, but she did it. It was all threaded when I got there. I just sat down and pushed go. Right. That was my only experience. So I was just kind of like, it tells you exactly what you need to do. And they're like, yeah, you just follow the card, flip the switches, and you go. And I'm like, I can do that. So I bought one. I bought the Evolution.
Yep.
And I don't know, a couple months later, maybe I was like back here and I traded that and bought the Ovation. So, because I wanted to do something in the middle of my fabric, not on the edge of my fabric.
Yeah.
So,
because we're both less garment sewers, more crafty type sewers.
Miscellaneous things.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you are a crafty sewer or like a home deck person, and utility purposes,
right.
Like you're not just making.
Now I do a lot of hemming.
Right.
A lot of hemming.
Don't tell my dad that my machine can hem. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. Yeah, too late. But yes, it is. I used to just stress, right. I mean, everything I bought for Caitlin, I had to hack off something and put in a new hem. It's so easy.
Right.
It's just like, wow. If it was only always this easy, I don't mind hemming her pants anymore because I usually leave it threaded for that and just sit down and sew.
Yes.
So that's just wonderful.
Yeah. So if you think that you are utility, like you're going to do basic serging and things like that, and you want both features, then the Accolade is a great machine.
It is phenomenal.
But when you see some of the decorative things that we'll
show you in a little bit
on,
like an hour later.
That's right. You might be realizing that you're not just
you might want to play a little bit more than
you're going to want to play. Yeah. So
just kind of look and see what you guys, when you see something, you're like, oh, I want to do that.
Right.
That's going to tell you how you're going to want to use it.
Absolutely.
So just keep that in mind as we start going through the different features and some different feet and different things that you can do.
Yeah. So, we love them all. And we might be a little biased to the big baby because we do like the big ones, but just a little biased, but we support everybody's choices.
We understand, as you guys already know, if you've bought machines from us before, you know, we want you to go home with the machine that's right for you.
Yes.
Not what we want you to go home with. That's not what it's all about.
Yes.
So, we have a video that's going to show you how simple it is to set up for threading on, I think we were on the Triumph just because it was a little bit bigger so you guys could see.
Yes.
But there should be a video hopefully coming up.
So let's see how this works.
In just a hot second here.
I feel like I need, whoops, hold on.
Whoa.
I think I need to.
Don't kick me out. You just kicked me out.
I didn't kick you out. I just, so there you go. I think I just have to remove them from the stream before I add
the video.
All
right, here we go, guys. 1, 2.
Video number
2, 3. Here, open. Look at that. Okay, so we are going to thread for a 4-thread overlock, which is going to use the lower, upper loopers and then needles 1 and 2. One of the nice things about these is that it is very clearly labeled which thread goes where. So when you use this, we're going to always want to go from the outside in. So you're going to go up and over the thread tree and then pull that in. Once we have all of those to the front, we're going to come into the only place that's going to actually record tension or whatnot. So you're going to hear a little click, and that is it locking into place right here. And then we're going to come forward. There is a little notch right here. We can also thread multiples at the same time. So we can come back up here and thread the upper looper. I'm going to click and bring that down. Okay, so to thread the ports, you can see very clearly we have a U and an L, which stands for upper and lower. And we need to take the tip of our thread and place it inside the port. Before we do, we need to tell the machine we want to thread. So this says serging here, and it says threading here. So we're going to flip that down and then turn the hand wheel towards us, and we'll hear that nice little click. That means that everything is in position and ready to go. I do have a little bit of dry hands, so I don't use my fingers for this. I generally use a pair of tweezers. You don't want to have too large of a tip, but you do want to get a nice little grip in there and then place that right inside that port. Once you have that in the port, you're going to make sure that you have a long enough tail. So by tail, we mean excess thread, because it has to travel from here all the way over to where the edge of the looper is. Now I'm in threading. All I have to do is push the button that says push to thread. Really tough, right? And lo and behold, my lower looper is threaded. I can repeat that now with my upper. So again, I use tweezers because my fingers tend to pull that right back out. I'm going to give myself enough tail and push the button. And there's my upper thread. All threaded, my loopers are done. Piece of cake. All right, so we are going to thread the needles for the 4-thread overlock, and we are currently threading on a Triumph, which is awesome because it has air threading on the needles as well as the loopers. To make sure that that air threading will work, we still need to be in threading mode. So we still need to have that button down in our tubes locked in place for the threader to actually come down and lock into place. To start threading, I always start with my left thread, my left needle, which is needle 1. And we're going to lock into the back just like we did before. So you'll hear that click, except I put it in the wrong one. So let's try that again. Lock that into place. And then there's a little notch here that we pick. we're going to come over, and it's going to be just like your sewing machine. And it's going to go up and over, kind of your take-up lever. And then I just set that one down, and I grab my thread for the right needle, which is needle 2. And I click that in place, and then again, follow that exact same path up and over, and I leave that on the right. When I go to put this in, the reason that I thread the left one first is so that it is on the left. Let me get that in position there. Here, so that I'm not crossing my threads, so that I'm not giving it any extra tension that I don't like. So there's that little stop right at the needle. Now, pretty cool. All we have to do is push the guide down. Sorry, my hand's getting in the way here. And I still have my needle threads up front. So basically, this is a little guide, and it kind of sounds like an air compressor when you turn it on. And again, I like to use tweezers because thread likes to stick to me, and I want it to go where I want it to go, not stuck to me. So I'm literally going to just hold the thread right in front, and I'm going to push and then let go. And it sucks that right inside. When I pull that up, you can actually see here, there is my needle thread, and it is all set and ready for me to sew. I'm going to pull that over here out of the way so you can very clearly see I'm going to do the other side. So again, I push down. I take my thread with my tweezers. Again, this is just my preference. And I hold that piece right in front of the eye of the needle. There's a little hole there you can very clearly see. And I push the button and let go. And that pulls it in. And there I have a completely threaded machine. So pretty easy, right? So you guys notice I did them all separately. You can actually put both of your threads in the port and then push it, and it will shoot through both at the same time. And you can do both of your needles without pulling that up. We're bouncing all over, getting seasick.
I know, I'm so sorry. I'm still learning this.
You can, you know, you don't have to raise and lower the threader. I was showing that just so you guys could see what was going on, but you can actually do them all at the same time.
Yeah.
So I just stretched it out a little bit so you guys could see a little bit cleaner.
Yeah.
So that's that one.
Yep. Are you ready?
Whew.
All right. Look at that. We managed to get through two
cards.
cards.
We haven't screwed up yet. All right.
We're almost on task.
We are kind of on task we're, half an hour in. So we're doing okay.
Yeah.
So you guys saw in the ad that we were doing this is actually the whole process today. We're going to actually create a drawstring bag. Mm-hmm. So let's start making the bag.
So I'm going to plop up
another
video or not
another screen overlay here that's going to just show you what you need to do. And the cutting instructions, if you purchased a kit, you got the instructions. And basically, it's going to tell you what sizes of fabric that you need to cut. So there is a child size and a teen size. And then we thought we needed a bigger bag. So we also have a LeBou size, which is not in your instructions. So if you don't already have that, for the body of the bag, you need 2 18 by 21. Mm-hmm. And for the pocket piece, you need 2 18 by 14. And then for the straps that we'll be making towards the end, you need about 4.5 yards of strips.
Yes.
So that doesn't mean actually 4.5 yards of fabric, just strips that would equal about 4.5 yards.
Yes. So
I have here what would be the bag body. Mm-hmm. So I've got 2 pieces that are cut at 18 and 21.
Yes.
And with it short side at the top, because of course the long side will be the bag length. Mm-hmm. All right. You're going to want to put this up to your cutting mat. That was kind of how I did it. I actually used a rotary cutter. I didn't actually measure with scissors or anything.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I don't use tape. I didn't measure. Right. I don't measure when I cook either. It's okay
to be loosey-goosey. So it's a drawstring bag.
It's a drawstring bag. Nobody's going to know. So what you're going to want to do is come down 2.5 inches from the top. So line up your front and the back of the bag and go down 2.5 inches and then approximately 3/8 of an inch in. So what you're going to want to do is once you have that cut, and again, you're going to repeat that on both sides, you're going to take that piece and you're going to fold it over about 1/8, fold it over about another 1/8, and you're going to have this little jag here. So this is going to be the side of the bag, And then this will be the top, which is going to be the casing. And we want to have a nice, clean, smooth little edge there.
Like
that.
This one. Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to sew this. You can use a sewing machine. So if you already have a serger and you have a 4 thread, so you have overlock capability, you're going to want to use your sewing machine for this step. If you have an 8 thread serger or you would like to get one, you can use the chain stitch. So we currently have the Triumph threaded for a center needle chain stitch. So what I'm going to do is just stitch nice and easy down there. And I got to rearrange here because I hadn't done that part yet because I was showing it over here. So yeah, I was busy.
Do you want me to show the video first?
Sure, go for it.
So we have a video on how to thread the machine for a chain stitch, and I'm going to bring that right up for you. 3, 4 thread. It's so far away. And tiny
Can
letters.
You see?
There we go.
All right, so we're going to get the machine ready to do a chain stitch, and we are going to use needle number 2, so it's in the center position. To go into chain stitching, we need to make a few changes to the machine. So they're super simple. The first thing that we need to do is take our upper looper here and move that into the down position, which is very easily done by turning this here. So we're telling it we want down, and then to actively move it, we turn that hand wheel. So you can see that it is now locked in place below the table of the machine. The second thing we need to do is lower that blade so that we're not going to be cutting. We're just sewing, kind of similar to a sewing machine. So we turn this little guy right here, which is your blade lock or unlock. And when we turn that, it lowers itself down. You'll notice when you turn that back, you will have to turn the hand wheel to get that to go back up when you need it to. The third thing that we need to do is to change this little guy right here. So this is called your blade cover, and it's a little scary the first time you pull that off. You feel like you've broken the machine. You haven't. You've done exactly what you're supposed to do. And that is going to be replaced by that table. So we're going to take those 3 locks right there and slide them into position, which I'm sorry, I know I'm blocking your view. And then that locks itself back in. Once we have that, this can lock right into place, and we are ready to do the chain stitch. Okay, so this is the looper threading for the chain looper. So I have my thread here. I've gone up and over the thread tree. This is the first place we're going to go. We're going to go right through that notch. Alrighty, and then we're going to come behind this guy here. In here is some tension, so we want to make sure that our foot is up. I only have this down so that you guys can see very clearly where we're going here. When I'm generally threading, I just leave it up at all times. So I'm going to go up and over that notch, and then there's a little clip right here. So that is that base looper threading. All right, so we have the machine all set, ready to do a cover or chain stitch. We've got everything lowered in place. So we're ready to go. All we need to do is thread that looper because we also have the looper tension portion threaded. So I need to tell the machine again that I want to thread. So I'm going to switch to threading here and then turn until those loopers catch there with that nice little tubes. I've got the 3 ports here. We have the upper and the lower. The C stands for chain or cover, and you'll notice that that letter is in gold, and everything that is for a chain or cover is in gold, where everything that is for an overlock is in green. So it's also color coded in addition to nicely labeled. So again, we want to make sure that we have a decent amount of tail here, and we're going to go ahead and push that. This time around, we can't see anything here. It's actually behind. So this side of the machine will open up, and we have this nice little basket right here, which is where we want to see all of our thread pool. As long as we have a nice little amount of thread in there, we're good to go. And we can turn this back to serging and close up the machine. So when we put this table up, a lot of times this doesn't seal all the way to the left. And the reason that that is because the blade is all the way out. And so we just need to actually move the blade right here, which this is your blade adjustment, also known as your stitch width. And that blade is now tucked inside, and you can see that we have a nicely sealed, very easy to use table.
Thread, the chain or the cover hem needles. So we're going to be working with this side of the machine over here, and this section here is the first section that you are going to need to use to thread your needles, and it's probably the one thing that we get asked about the most. So there are several different ways to get the thread and the tension here, but essentially it's open on the bottom track here. So how I find this to be easier, I kind of do this like I'm flossing. So I'm gonna lay the thread down in this track here, and then I'm gonna simply slide the thread to the right when I get down, and that's going to pop it in that track. All right, so I'll do that one more time. So I'm gonna lay the thread in the track, bring it all the way down, and then I'm gonna slide right, and that's gonna pop that in the track. And that's how we're going to get the thread in the tension. It doesn't matter which one of these tension slots we are using. We're gonna do it the same for each one. So we're gonna slide it in all the way down to the bottom, and then slide the thread left or right. All right, so we're in our tension disc in the back. We're gonna bring our thread down whichever channel we happen to be using. We're gonna use the center channel for this one, which is gonna be the center needle cover chain stitch needle 2. I'm coming straight down here, and this is a little bit like a regular sewing machine, up, over, and down. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on threading the needles. All right, so let's get ready to use the air threading for the needle. I need to make sure that I have my dial here selected to cover or chain. That's what's going to make sure that the chain is actually getting air threaded through it. I need to make sure that my machine is set for threading for the looper part. If you have already closed your cabinet up there, you're going to want to make sure that you open that back up and reselect that to threading. Then I'm going to pull this dial back down over here, and I'm going to be working on the front section here. So there are actually 2 sections here. That's what this dial here controls, and I'm going to be working with that front section. I have my needle in position C2, so we are going to make sure that we are putting the thread near the C2 area. I'm just going to trim the thread up a little bit here. It's pretty long. And I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm going to push the button. And there we have it. You can see the tail thread right here. We have threaded our needle. All right, so now all we have to do is make sure that we have the settings correct on our project here. So we are doing the cover chain, and we want to make sure that we have our stitch length dial selected to approximately 2 or 3, so somewhere between 2 and 3. So I'm going to set mine on 3 right in the middle. I'm going to want to make sure that I have my chain needle tension, which is the dial that is on the side of the machine over here. I'm going to want to make sure that I have that somewhere between 4 and 6. I like to start right in the middle. And then my chain looper tension is the dial on the side of the machine right over here. Okay, so it's this guy right here, and I'm going to make sure that I have that one set somewhere around the 2 to 3 area. And I should be all set to stitch once I turn my machine back into the serging set. So join us for some fun stitching.
Now let's stitch. See, that works. We were supposed to do that video first. It's the little things in life.
It is the little things in life. All right.
All right. So here we have our beautiful Triumph, and here is my double folded and then pressed so that it kind of stays nice in there where we want it. And I am lined up with my center needle here. So I have in C2, which is the center chain or cover needle. And you can see on the foot, possibly, I'm not really sure. I don't think you can see it from there. There's little notches on the bottom that are your kind of lineup guides for that. So when I start with a chain or a cover, I like to start with my needle in the fabric. It is absolutely important to do that if it's not already chained. But if it has already been started, you don't have to, but it's a really great habit to get into. Then you don't ever have an issue. So all I'm going to do is sew a nice short little seam here and chain off the end. And again, this is very similar to your sewing machine. And all you need to do is make sure that you have that nice little seam there that is going to keep that little bit in place.
That's right.
That's that simple.
Woo-hoo!
Just like sewing. There's just no reverse.
That's right. You have to like flip your whole fabric around.
But you have a looper in there. You can see it's a much heavier look than what your bobbin would do. So
yes.
It's a nice and secure stitch.
All right.
Okay. Well, mine was easier than yours.
Yeah, yours was quickie.
What do you
All
say?
right.
I'm not really sure what that was supposed to mean.
Look, there's another card.
There we go. We're cleaning this table off. We're just going to keep going.
That's right.
All right. What do we got next?
Next is 4-thread, 3-thread top of bag.
All right. So once you have your pieces, so that I'm going to hold that up a little bit closer. You guys can see the notches have been sewn in place. All right. Once you have that done on both your front and the back, we need to run a 4-thread or 3-thread. Doesn't really matter. You just need to make sure that you don't have any raw edges that are going to fuzz up on the inside of your bag. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold that down the length of that. So just going to fold that in half right on top of itself once we've got that there. So we just want to make sure that we don't have any yuckies up at the top, and it's going to be nice and secure. So back to you.
Back to me. All right.
She gets all the hard stuff.
Well,
That's not what you meant to do.
I made the screen bigger for us.
That was interesting. There we go.
Yeah. Yes. It's
that
like
looked a little weird on our side.
It's like I've never used a mouse before.
Crazy, isn't it?
All right. So I've got this. This is our knitting bag, just in case you're curious. And do you see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying. So I keep trying to use the presser foot the lifter.
Yes, they're in different spots on different machines.
And just in case you were wondering, my leg also went over to use the knee lift, which is not here.
Well, there you go.
Oh.
So that again is just buzzing off all of the yucky edges and getting a nice clean edge at the top of the bag. So this is just going to be a little knitting bag for me. I picked up knitting again. I haven't knit in quite some time, but I'm going to start it again. So I needed a bag to keep my project in. So I thought this was just absolutely perfect. So you can see that that is now beautifully stitched and we're ready to go. So at this point, we would then go to our pressing station and we would fold that down and press it in place. Right?
Yes.
Right. So that's back to me.
That's back to you.
Except I have to press it real quick.
Do you want me to press it? I'm a little closer.
If you could do that, that would be phenomenal.
Isn't it nice to have a presser?
I'm telling you, having a sew chef is phenomenal. Sewing with buddies is great.
It is.
Yeah, you do this, I'll do this. You do this, I'll do that. So what we're going to do basically is we're going to do this. So I've already done it on the opposite side. And you can see that we have that serged edge. Now this is going to be on the inside of the bag. So I know my colors don't look all that phenomenal with the fabric, but I don't care. It's on the inside. So what we are doing is we are creating a casing for our drawstring ties to go through. So we are going to, once we have that, we're going to place that underneath and sew all the way across the bag and sew that casing closed. Again, if you don't have an 8-lock or you don't plan to purchase an 8-lock?
8-lock. That's a good one.
That is a new one. An 8-thread overlock serger flash cover hem machine. You could also do the stitch on your sewing machine. I am
a lefty, and I was just ironing that with my right hand.
Well, I'll be okay.
And I was trying really hard not to iron over the cord.
That's probably a good thing. While I am getting this prepped in there, you want to show the sewing machine stitch that I did on the other bag?
Yes.
So that they can see a more decorative stitch. If you,
yes.
So you could put a decorative thread in your looper,
Sorry.
You could put a decorative thread in your looper for this chain stitch and then kind of sew upside down and have that really pretty something going on. I did this with my sewing machine at home. So I just put in an actual decorative stitch and I sewed that in place using that, just gave it a little bit extra oomph.
This is the stitch that I used for my bridging plate.
How about that?
Yep.
You know, I was going to pick a different one, but it was a lot longer or a lot wider. And I was like, I don't have time for this.
Super cute. It's perfect.
So, but I'm not prepping this. And that's what I was supposed to be doing. My bad.
There you go. And then I'll show your insides.
Okay.
So there we go. There's the seam on the inside. So if you are trying to keep up with us, we cut our bags. We snipped in the two edges of the top inside and the outside of the bag. So the main parts of the bag, we snipped in 2.5 inches down, 3/8 of an inch in, pressed in to create our casings.
Yep, double.
And Lisa is doing the final stitch
to make the casing sleeve itself.
Which would be like the top stitching part.
Absolutely. So I'm going to top stitch on my serger instead of my sewing machine. Yes. So that's all I'm going to do. I got to find my foot pedal though. Oh, running over my mic cord. There's just too many things going on around here. There's a lot of cords here.
It's amazing no one was hurt during this.
Not yet. We're not done yet. So there are fabric guides. So generally when I am top stitching this way, I would have a fabric guide put here so that I had an edge to follow. I'm just going to eyeball it over here and hope that she irons straight. It'll either work or it won't. But what I do have is my needle already in the fabric. So I did that while we were yakking. And again, I'm starting with that needle in the fabric. And I would recommend a fabric guide, which by the way, guys, comes in the foot kit for this machine.
That's right.
So you wouldn't even have to worry about it if you don't already have it. Got to get over that little bump.
Caught on the edge of the foot there.
Yeah.
That's why you need the knee lift.
Is that what I need?
Yep.
I still have never used a knee lift. Full disclosure. There is some thread going on all over the place. Like there's blue where there's not supposed to be blue. And I'm just going to sew right off the edge and clip. And there is my beautiful top stitching, just like I would have, here we go.
Yeah.
On my sewing machine. Okay. So you guys are learning how easy it is to use these machines. They sew fantastic. You can use them for lots of different stuff.
Right.
We haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet.
No.
So.
But you saw how easy it was to thread. So it's super easy to go back and forth.
It is.
It
but
takes
for
just
today's
a couple
purposes,
minutes.
We didn't think you'd want to wait and watch.
And
so
watch
that's
us
why
do
we
it
have
over and
two
over
different
again.
machines
Yes.
literally set up. But if you were doing this at home, it's not difficult.
No.
So you could very easily swap between the two. And we have a few tips and tricks we could actually help you with. But those are the secret sauce that you only get if you buy a machine.
So,
all right. We did that. Decorative stitching with chain. That's what you wanted to show.
Yes, because you were talking about sewing upside down.
So sewing upside down, what does that actually mean?
Oh,
so this is a fantastic sample. You might even be able to show yours and just slide it right in front. So this one is great. Sarah did a Serger wallet kind of clasp purse thing a little bit ago. So you can see the two differences in there. One is the needle stitch and one, can you point that out just so that
I can. So this one right here, is the needles.
Basically with the cork pretty side up.
Yes, with the pretty side up. And then this one right here is upside down. So the cork was facing down.
Pretty side down.
Yes. And then this right here is a narrow cover hem, which is two needles instead of one. So that's really the difference between this. This is a single needle and the chain cover looper.
So
and
you
then
can see that loopers really... It gives a lot more pop. And if you put a heavier decorative thread in that, it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
So super fun. You can doodle. So this is being able to doodle on your fabric.
Yes.
This is what you need that 5-inch throat for.
It is. Yep.
So yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun to play with this. So we'll do that at the end.
Yep. Well, we are going to do it again. Just give us, I don't know, an hour.
Yeah.
We are going to do it again. You are certainly welcome to call the store if you have specific questions. They have all of that up front as well. So
our people are manning the phones.
Our people are manning the phones. I'm getting warm. Are you getting warm?
Not yet.
Wow. Oh. Yeah. No, I'm like, woo, kicking it over here.
All right. So that's decorative. That's the decorative stitching. So like when Lisa was saying, you could stitch that upside down on that bag front.
Then I wouldn't have needed my
you wouldn't need your fabric guide.
You still would have needed
what
I was doing.
Press straight.
Definitely still need to press straight.
But
absolutely.
Yeah, that is that's what that is. So you can do a lot of really fun unique things with the chain and cover stitch. And if you are a quilter or you do like to sew, while I would never say that my serger will replace my sewing machine, because I absolutely love my sewing machine, but if you wanted to travel and you wanted to take one machine, and you wanted to really do some
make
fun
sure you
stuff,
can do a lot of stuff with that machine,
right? A serger would be the Triumph would be a great thing to take. It does have a decent sized footprint, but it's not as big as my Luminaire. So and
a little bit easier to take,
right?
Yeah, a lot less
feels
room.
Like it might be the same weight, but but it definitely has a smaller footprint.
It does, but that doesn't embroider either.
No, it doesn't.
I just have to have the embroidery. Unfortunately, I don't. I think that if I went on vacation with the machine,
you'd have to have your embroidery. You don't think you could learn to doodle? Maybe you could do free motion. You know what? If you did like free motion embroidery with this,
I could totally.
That would be a lot of fun.
I could totally learn how to do that.
You'd come back. Well, it depends on how long you were gone. I was gonna say you would come back an expert. You could come back and be like, Sarah, what the heck were you talking about?
Why did you think I would want to do this? Like, crud.
Oh yeah, are you crazy? So, anyways, that's some fun decorative thing. Really adds a lot of dimension. And if you really want to, dress up these little bags to give out, that's definitely what you need to do.
So I just really like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that awesome? So thank you, Lori. We think so too.
Yes. Yes.
So,
yep. So I love that. So I'm gonna we'll just throw that back there.
There's gonna be a huge pile back there when we're done.
Oh, and this one.
That one's gone too.
There we go.
All right.
Pockets.
So the pattern for this bag, where's the black one?
The black bag? It's down here. I didn't throw it. It just fell off my lap. I got a little excited.
Moved a little bit. So this is, I think, is this the only finished one we have?
It is.
This is the only finished sample that we have. This is made Laboo size, so you can see a little bit. So the pocket is kind of the fun part of this. So you can add all kinds of really cool things by that. So I just have a very simple piping on mine, which we did supply if you bought a kit. We did give you the piping so that you can put that in there and have that capability. But we actually have quite a few videos that show how you can use different kinds of things to bling out your pocket. And they're all a lot of fun. So this gets into a little bit more of maybe not your everyday 4-thread or chain cover hem type stitch. This is how to have some fun and how you can really embellish and do some fun things with the machine. So we've got a couple different videos that we're going to pop up and we have some samples to go along with those.
All right. So
do we need this one?
No,
that's going to go over there.
Okay. I am going to pull up a video and we are on video number 4. This is a 3-thread decorative.
So sorry ahead of time. I did this at home and my serger is like the darkest corner of my sewing room. So I apologize. The lighting is not phenomenal on here, but you can still see the lighting of the machine gives you can see what's going on, but sorry about the dark background.
All right, I am threaded for a 3-thread wide, so I have my left needle in, and I have decorative thread in my loopers. So I actually have metallic embroidery thread, one slightly different color in the top and the bottom, and I have my pocket here with wrong sides together, right sides are both out. So this is the actual finished pocket type, and we're going to put the edge right on the edge of the fabric here. So we'll have that nice decorative big 3-thread wide stitch. We're going to go nice and slow because I want those stitches to be as close as possible so I get a very satin type looking stitch. So this is probably kind of like watching paint dry, right? However, if I go too fast, I'm going to get gaps in between, and I don't want that. So we're going to go nice and slow. For my 3-thread wide, I have my blade as wide as possible, so all the way at 7.5. And I have my stitch length at the first click into the standard stitch, which is basically 1, or maybe even a half. So I'm just going to pause here, and hopefully you guys can see how beautiful that decorative thread is. So that will be the edge of my pocket.
I'm just knocking everything over. Sorry about that little crash there.
All right, so Lisa did 3-thread with
I did
metallic
2
threads.
metallic threads in both my upper and lower loopers. So they were slightly different colors. Not that you could tell that, but one was aluminum, one was silver. But those were Kingstar metallics in that in the loopers. So it actually turned out super cute. I was very pleased with the sparkle. It was very, very cute. And it would certainly add a lot of punch. It doesn't have to be metallic. It could be anything like a 12 weight or something. So a super heavy thread or whatnot that you could just add that little punch or variegated or whatever it is that floats your boat.
Yep, absolutely. And we're showing you all kinds of different ways that you could embellish your pocket right now.
Correct.
We have a plain pocket we're going to show you in a minute, but we're just showing you some different ideas of how you could decorate it. So this would be if you wanted to add a little rickrack. And if you make pillowcases, adding this little rickrack in
the casing
between the 2 pieces is so stinking cute. It is really cute. And I love to give Christmas gifts in pillowcases. So
use a pillowcase,
right? Because everybody loves them. I think they like the pillowcase more than the present, but I still enjoyed both.
Oh, you mean you actually wrap them in the pillowcase?
I do. I just put their gift in the pillowcase. So instead of doing
the pillowcase isn't the gift.
No.
Wow,
well,
you're nice.
You know, sometimes.
That might be the whole gift.
It could be the whole gift.
Yeah, you just never know.
All right.
So here's how to do rickrack.
Here is how to insert rickrack.
This is the one I was holding the camera in one hand and sewing with the other.
Yes.
So have fun with this one too, guys.
So here we have a sample for doing rickrack as your pocket trim. So I have my sandwich here made out of these 2 pieces, which would be the front and the lining of your pocket, and then my rickrack. And we're going to just run that right through a 4-thread overlock. So you can see I have 2 needles in there. And down here you can see that I am at about 2.5 on my stitch length, and I'm on the medium, so at about 6 for my stitch width. And what I'm doing is just buzzing right along the edge of my blade there, so you can see that that fabric is lined up nice and tight with that blade. And we're just going to very, very slowly make sure that we are sewing in position. So we're just going to guide that along. It's going to nip off any little edges as we go. All right, I need to realign since I'm using a camera in one hand and my fabric in the other. So let's reposition that so that that rickrack edge is right there. Alrighty, and here we go again. We're going to sew a little bit farther.
Hour and 10.
All right. We're going to come around the front there and get rid of that. And then over here, you can see this beautiful pocket with a rickrack trim. So once we take that to our pressing station, we will have that nice little bump right outside of our pocket. So cute.
So sorry about the little bit of bouncing on there. Like I said, I was literally holding the camera and then sewing. I don't have all this fancy setup stuff here at home. So I had to get creative, but this is my sample. So I'm going to hold that up nice as close as I can there. I can't reach any farther. And you can see how cute that is. Super simple. You are literally just doing a 3 or a 4 thread and sewing that in, and that pops up.
Yep.
Wonder clips would be great, but I didn't have any extra hands to take those back off.
Yep.
So super helpful, but that would help you keep a little bit straight. But
Mhm.
Even with all that, not
Right.
so shabby, right? So super cute. Have that nice little pop
Mhm.
on there. And for, rickrack is super easy to find. I did have some challenges finding a fabric that would look good with this green. But rickrack is
Really
all
fun.
kinds of colors, and it's so super fun. So
Yeah.
you can have lots of fun with that.
That's right.
Yep, done with that.
Hayden is enjoying watching us throw this
He's like,
stuff
what
over.
are they doing?
He's laughing at
Crazy
us right
chicks.
now. Yes.
All right. So what else we got?
We have gathering.
So gathering is super fun, and you can do that in more than one stitch type. So
Yes.
if you have a 4 thread,
Yes.
You can still gather.
Mhm.
But both of us prefer to do it on
In
the
the
other side of the machine.
Yeah.
So it is lots of fun. So let's see how you do that.
Yes. Oh, I almost totally hit the wrong button. Don't stop the camera.
Don't stop the camera. That would be really bad.
Yes. All right. Where is gathering with the chain? This is my favorite.
All right, so she's got the cover hem foot on, and those are the settings that she's got on the machine. The big one to notice here is the differential feed is set at 2.
Yep, all the way up.
All right.
All the way up.
I have my machine set up for a center needle position chain stitch. I have my chain cover hem foot on. This is a very narrow foot, and I would like to do some gathering. So I have adjusted the differential feed on the machine all the way up to 2. I have increased my stitch length to 4 so that it's going to take longer stitches. I have 2 pieces of material here. It's just regular cotton, quilting cotton, and I did do a decorative rolled edge on the one side. But my favorite way to do gathers or ruffles on a serger is actually to do them on the cover hem side. So I'm gonna get right to that here. You can see how it really gathers very quickly, and it does want to pull the fabric over to the side. So I want to make sure that I am sort of keeping my fabric over here so that I can keep an eye on my fabric. I don't want to pull it though. I just want to do gentle guide.
You can see we sew super fast.
Right.
You see it's kind of ruffling around over here.
This is about the time that the cat was trying to run off. He was pulling on the tail behind me. It was kind of funny. I'm not sure how the meow didn't end up in the video.
You had a mic on.
I did.
That would be how. So if you had been sewing faster, what would have happened?
I would have basically lost control of the fabric.
Right. So there's a reason not to just step on the gas.
Yeah. Yeah, like at the beginning, you see it kind of just wants to take off like it's crazy going.
Yep.
And that's what happens.
And are you using the edge of your foot as a guide?
I am,
Smart.
if I can. It
Sometimes it likes to move around on you a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm getting to the end of my ruffled fabric here, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch right off the fabric. And that is okay. All right, so here I have, get it untangled, my ruffled edge. Look how cute that is.
So cute.
so cute.
So I'm going to put this in the top edge of a little drawstring bag that I'm working on.
Guess it's not so
But
little.
you can see it almost pleats it. So you've got little tiny
It really
little
ruffles
pleats
it.
here.
Yeah.
You don't
So
see
it does
that,
a really,
that strong of a
really
ruffle when you're
nice
using it on
job
the overlock
of
side.
gathering up that fabric. Hope that's helpful. Thanks, guys.
So this is it attached to her pocket. So you can see that this is the front of her bag. And how adorable is that ruffle?
I know.
It is so easy to make something so cute, which is what we are always looking for.
Right.
Right. So no more of that having to sew 2 rows. And
yeah. No. If you have a chain or a cover hem machine,
it's the bomb, man.
Yeah. There's just no comparing the ruffle and the gather at all. I mean, actually, these are a perfect example of that.
These are perfect examples of how fun and wonderfully you can get that. Now, were you using the shearing foot on these too?
Not on all of them.
Not on all of them? Okay.
No. These actually were done exactly the same way.
And you did it on both sides. Can you push that up a little bit tighter, or maybe in front of your camera?
Let me go.
Switchy. You just drag that over, yeah? So you can see that a little bit better there. So that has that ruffled edge on both sides of that. And how fun is that fabric? And you can make anything that you want. So that lovely wallet, we chucked had that in there.
Yeah, that's
already on the floor. Sorry.
A really fantastic color. Here you can see, I think you can see it a little bit better in here.
I love that fabric.
Right?
Who doesn't want scattered pins all over their fabric?
Yeah.
The problem is when you actually have a real pin in there and you don't realize it.
Right.
Because it just blends in.
Yeah. And then,
just a simple.
And you can just see how cute. So this is a really
real thin,
lightweight material. And then
lots of flounces on shirts or skirts or bags.
Those were all done
you can actually add a little ruffle cuff to the bottom of a jean jacket or something.
Those were all done with the single, like with the chain.
With the chain.
This one was actually done with a double. So this was a cover hem. So you can still get just as much gather
and again, what makes it do that is that differential feed. So that is the really big difference maker. Is that differential feed. So that makes your feed dog sets work at different speeds. So we'll explain all of that when you come in to buy yours.
Yes.
It's a little bit longer story.
It is a little bit longer.
So let's
woo,
get rid of those. All right. We're getting somewhere.
We are making some progress.
And
one more card. Ready? Woo! There we go.
All right. So we are going to I'm going to stand here and stare over her shoulder. Sarah is going to sew what am I going to do? Piping. She's going to do piping.
Yes.
So that is how I did the pocket on that black bag that we had shown you. And we use this beautiful cording foot. It's funny because it says cording on the outside, but it really is the cording or piping foot.
Yeah.
It just doesn't say that really in there. So it's got, I think it's a PF.
It's the P5.
P5. That's what I meant to say.
I know that's totally
for 5, don't you know? So she's going to go ahead and put that on there. Super easy. Just like your sewing machines, you just lower the foot on top of that and it grabs right hold. We've got a strip of piping and we also have a strip of fabric. So she's going to fold that basically in half in a hot dog all the way down there. And it is going to feed the raw edges towards your foot. And the cording is going to slide right through a guide on the back of that foot. So super easy. And that's exactly what we're looking for. Make sure you lower your foot, super important. Otherwise, it doesn't really stay in the groove very well, and the machine doesn't sew so hot either.
It does not. So
it's funny how that works.
I'm working to make sure that little piece of piping is stuck in here. And this is a pretty big opening, guys.
It is. So and the piping that we provided isn't super big.
No.
So it's got a little bit of wiggle room. So make sure you're hanging on.
All right. Now, ooh, sorry. Didn't mean to bump the camera. Try and find the foot pedal.
Lots of cords down there.
Yep, lots of cords down there. There we go.
Got a grip on it now?
Yep, just got to get it started. All right.
You sure?
Yes. We are definitely moving.
All right. So do you keep an eye, make sure that cording is staying nice and tucked in there. I did one of these in a sample and I wasn't super tight on how I was holding that. And I looked down and my cording had fallen on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
So, make sure that it's in there, before you keep going, because it doesn't really feed very well through there. That piece got chucked over my shoulder, too.
Yes.
Yes, it did. We're getting a mess.
We are. Good thing Karen's cleaning tonight.
Right?
Sorry, Karen.
Holy crow.
Yeah, this is definitely a lot easier to sew when you're sitting in front of it.
I can only imagine. Oh, wait, I did that too. So even off to the side and not actually being able to see exactly what she's doing, we've made it all the way through there and you have this strip.
All right, you ready?
So once you have this strip, you go, wow, look at that.
So
it's so cute. So you have that little bump on that ridge. And so basically what we would do then is sew that in between two pieces of pocket or whatever. Did we have fabric to do that or no? I don't remember what he brought.
No, but I could certainly do it for, we could cut this open.
We could totally cut that open.
Yeah. There's scissors here somewhere.
It's amazing, I know. I actually found scissors in this store.
They were almost
sharp.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. We probably need to cut the other end off too. Otherwise, I won't be able to turn it.
Able to turn?
No.
You're no fun.
I know.
I was trying to challenge you. I'm just kidding.
It's the end. It's like the end of the day. So
these scissors really are kind of
certainly easy to challenge me.
There you go.
All right.
Don't use that side. That side's really not straight.
Okay. Use this side.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. So what she is doing is she is lining up the raw edge.
I got it backwards. Yeah. So don't do it like that.
Don't do it like that. Not that they could see.
Right.
All right. So the edge of the pocket pieces, you're going to have pretty sides together. And then you're going to have that stitched piece that you just did and line that right up along with those edges. This will also be fun because she can't sit in front of the machine. So bear with. But because your stitch is the same width, it is going to go right over top of the stitches that you just did. And you won't see any of the thread. You'll just have that piping outside of that.
There we go.
She's just lining up the edges so when she sews, it actually goes where it's supposed to.
That's right.
And here we go. So just nipping off a little bit of the white, which would be your pocket front and lining.
Making sure that our piping
Again, that
piece
piping is inside the groove.
Inside, yep.
Yep. And keep all three edges nice and lined up.
I like it when I can go really fast.
Yes, that's fun.
All right,
so here we go.
Here, ready?
Shapow!
Ta-da!
So when you take that and press it, then you will have that beautiful little edge. So you can really make that pop if you would like. I really wanted to find a silver metallic fabric at home, but I don't have any to put on the bag that I have. But I do have some other samples if you don't want to.
Right.
That one looks pretty good. This one's a little bit darker colors, but you can see it's super easy to add that. And it's just lining up the edges of the fabric.
Yeah.
And how fun is that? And of course, you could put in a larger cording piece so it had more pop than the piece that we provided if you really wanted to do so. But really, really easy. And, you know, you could actually have multiples of those. You could have stripes all down the front of your bag if you really wanted to. Yep. So lots of things that you can do with that. Some other types of decorative pieces we're going to talk about in here half a sec. I'm skipping.
Yeah.
I skipped.
You skipped.
So bad.
It's all right.
So that is how to add in a piping edge.
Right.
And add that to your pocket. So in the directions, if you did purchase a kit, there is some information about all of these types of decorative pockets. And one of those talks about using the double fold bias binder.
Yes.
Which you pretty much can only use on the big guy.
Yes.
So if that is something that you would think you would like, that right there is going to make the decision for you, which machine would be for you. So this bag has got pockets on it, and I did this actually at convention. How many years ago was that? Holy crow. 2.5
2
and a half years ago, I think.
Up to 3.
And so this is just a bag that was a serger class that I took then, and it was made 100% on a serger. The only thing I cheated was this is a zigzag stitch to actually attach the handles. Everything else was done on the serger. So you can see I've got some pretty chain stitches, decorative pieces. But what I really want you guys to see is that edge on both the top of the bag and the top of the pocket. So you can see how nice edged that is. And you can do that for lots and lots of things. So that is another way that you could edge the pocket. Not quite as decorative as some of these others, but sometimes that's exactly what you need. So again, if you're making a bag and you want to have a nice strengthened edge kind of thing, that's something that you can do.
Absolutely.
So we've got a bunch of some decorative stitches. So what this would be for is if you had a plainer fabric and you wanted to bling that up without having to get a blingier fabric.
Right.
So lots of ways to do that.
Lots of ways to do it.
So we've got some fun things here.
That is kind of like your earlier. So earlier we showed the video of the 3-thread.
This would be that same technique.
Yep.
Just done multiple times, going down those stitches. So that is just a 3-thread wide, stitched, and then fold the fabric, stitch again, fold the fabric, stitch again, and keep going. And you could mark lines so that that actually stays in some semblance of an order, or you could just kind of go all over the place.
Right.
But how fun.
Yeah. So if you wanted to do something like this and you wanted your bag to be 14 and you wanted your pocket to be 14 inches, you would need to start with
a whole bunch more fabric.
Bigger. Yeah. Because of course the folding part is going to take up some, we're basically pleating this. But that is all that, this was just variegated thread. And I just sewed a bunch. You can see the back. It's just a bunch of little pleats, nothing super fancy on the back. But that would be really, really fun. And then once you have something like this, you can take this to the next level and you can do this. And so here, what we did was we just sewed. So you can see that we sewed up this line here, and then
that pushes all of that
down.
Fabric or thread really in one direction, and then when you sew the other way, it pushes it the other way.
Right.
So it gives you a little bit of a wave thing going on.
It does,
without actually having a wave stitch.
Right.
But guess what? There's actually a thing called a wave stitch.
There is. So that's kind of what it looks like when you sort of do that fun little stitch there.
So there's lots of really fun, cool things that you can do to add. We've got a bunch of samples here. This is using you can see the needle there. So there's 2. That is a narrow cover hem. And then on this beautiful velveteen type fabric, we've got some looper thread that's really giving us a really nice pattern on there. This is literally doodling. I mean, how much fun
it's like
is
doodle
that?
quilting.
Doodle quilting with your
serger.
Absolutely. So some more of these. Somebody really likes to do this. I'm not sure who these were. These both you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like to do this?
I do. I like grid quilting. Bye.
See ya. It's that time already.
It is.
Cut myself.
Oops.
Look at that. And then again, another sample of that. You can see on the back, there's a triple in there as well.
Bye. See ya tomorrow.
The thread is kind of a little bit more blending on this one, so it's a little bit harder to see. You can also make lace with your sergers. I think this is a better sample, actually, if you want to show that. Really, really fun.
This was a lot of fun. This was a class that we taught here, which is serger lace. I think actually this deserves a close-up.
It does.
So look at that lace.
Isn't that gorgeous? That is all done with thread.
It is. I mean, it is such a cool technique.
It really, really is. And it's not hard.
No, this is literally a 4-thread.
It is a 4-thread that you're just changing the length of the stitch.
Yeah, you increase the stitch length and you basically you turn your knife off so you're not cutting, and you basically just keep sewing over top of your previous
stitch line.
So it is so much fun.
So there's a question about inserting a zipper into that. So if we wanted to do that, I would probably use that exact same foot, but instead of that piping piece tucked in there, it would be the zipper tape, and the zipper teeth would be there. So you would sew that together, and then you could flip and sew the other side of your pocket or whatnot to the exact same way.
Yeah.
So your zipper teeth would be one. Wow, sorry. I'm bleeding. I don't know. So yes, I agree. You should totally repeat the lace.
I should.
It's, it's not that it was hard, but it just feels really weird because you're sewing on nothing.
It is. Yeah.
That's the weird, hard part of it. It's not at all difficult. It's just weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you should totally do that.
Yeah. That might be an okay virtual class.
That would be an okay virtual class.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You should totally do that.
Yeah.
But where were you? I have no idea, my dear.
Yeah. So
not here, evidently.
Lisa got sidetracked. Zippers.
The
P5 foot, the cording foot.
The cording foot would be what you would want, and your zipper teeth would sit in the groove of the cording or the piping where that would be.
Absolutely.
And you would just line the edge up, and then it would open up into position. It's actually super easy.
Yep. You just have to be careful. I always tell people plastic zippers work much better if you're working with your serger, because if you accidentally go over the zipper teeth, it's not the end of the world.
It's not going to kill the loopers.
It's also not going to kill the knife. Yeah. You probably aren't going to break the machine because these are near indestructible.
You might need to replace your blade.
But you would probably need to replace your blade,
which
for
is
sure.
actually super easy.
It is. It is very easy to do.
And you even get an extra one of those upper ones with most of the machines.
Most of them. Yeah, I
so.
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, very, very simple. Take a scrap one and play with it.
Absolutely. But
you can open the zipper up.
Yeah.
So you don't have to deal with the head. You're just working one side and then the other side.
And if your zipper is longer than longer than what you need, then you don't have to worry about it.
You don't even have
to trim it later, and
it doesn't matter whether I'm sewing or embroidering or serging. If I'm working with a zipper, it's got to be at least 2 inches longer than what I need.
Definitely.
So I don't have to deal with that stupid zipper head.
Yes.
Keep it out of my way.
Nobody wants to
just
deal with that.
Get it out of my way.
All right.
Okay. So where are we at?
We are pockets, double fold, talking about decorative stitches. Woo! Elastic.
All right. So
we're still talking about our pockets, by the way.
We are. So this is still pocket stuff. So once you have all of the decorative done, this one doesn't happen to have any decorative on it, but it is a pocket. And what you would want to do is...
It's from the pocket store.
It's from the pocket store, which is a wonderful place. I am now the pocket store.
You are.
I am totally the pocket store. Ask me some other time. There's a story. It's a really, really cute story.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is so that the pocket doesn't bow out from the bag, you want to put a little bit of elastic in there so that it stays closed, so that whatever you actually put in said pocket doesn't just go falling out of the pocket. So I didn't overkill.
Yeah, there's not a lot of structure in this bag, so it's really easy.
It's really easy for that to just
open.
flip open. So the elastic just keeps it a little bit tighter in there. If you really don't want to do that, okay.
You could put a drawstring in this too.
You could absolutely do that as well. You are not wrong.
This bag should be called bigger on the inside than the outside bag, because you were like she was just pulling stuff out. It was hysterical.
It was like the Mary Poppins bag. I was like, okay, I got this and I got this, and I got home and Caitlin's like, Mom, I want one of those. So I got another one I got to make when I get home too. But super easy, especially now that I know what I'm doing.
Right.
Imagine that. Okay. Elastic. Stay on track, Lisa. Pay attention. Elastic. Your piece of elastic, when you put that in, you need to make a casing for that elastic. So
which we made at the beginning on like our top. So very
just
similar.
Like that, you have a fold or a seam at the top. So I chucked them all. Look at that. On the piping edge, that's a long way down.
It is.
Holy crow.
Don't fall.
Right? So if this was my pocket, I could use that top edge as the top of my casing.
Right. And
just need to sew a straight line down so that I have a casing to put the elastic in. When you place that elastic in, you're going to use probably something like you can't see that at all, a bodkin. If I turn it enough, the light will hit it, right? So that will grab hold of the end, and then
I think I'm going to
God bless you. Feed it through. And what you'll want to do is the sizing that is included in the instructions is to have an inch out one side. So what I did is once I got it fed all the way through, I stuck it under my machine and I stitched one side in place.
Yes.
And then I pulled it out the other side until I had an inch out here, and then I stitched that in place. Super easy.
Yeah.
And then, very, very fast.
And then your pocket will cinch in a little bit.
And then it'll
like
cinch
this.
in a little bit so that you won't have a droopy pocket.
Yes.
Nobody wants droopy pockets.
No.
So no droopy drawers, no droopy pockets. We don't throw that. I need it. No.
She's no fun.
Stop. Can't have that one. Not that one.
Not that one.
So you do want to do that. We're not going to physically show literally either chain stitch or sewing machine stitch a straight line to make a casing.
Absolutely.
And insert elastic in the pocket top.
Yes.
Okay.
Pocket
so there you go. We did that.
We did that.
Sandwich the bottom of the bag. That is a U.
That is me.
So we are going to take my bag. I got my front and my back. I have mine lined because I thought, what the heck? We're going to try and add some more fabric and see how it works. So far, it's not too shabby. And you are going to line that up. Your pocket, you are going to put on the front of the bag. So you're going to have all three pieces.
So here's the pocket on the bag.
On the bag.
Yes.
So we are literally going to take that guy and this guy and make a sandwich. This one happens to be sewn together already, but you're going to have backing, pocket, front.
Yes.
All right. So, and then you're going to take that and do a 4-thread all the way across the bottom of the bag.
Yes.
All right. And once you have that,
am I doing this?
Yeah, we can show that. It's just a 4-thread stitch.
Yep. I'll do that while you talk. We don't need to take a big picture of this. They can just see it.
So again, a 4-thread. All right. So 4-thread. So a nice strong seam. That 4-thread is fantastic. I like to call that extra thread. So what's the difference between a 3-thread and a 4-thread? That 4th thread is a CYA seam.
That's right.
Literally, if you're making pants. So if you are making pants and you have a seam that pops a needle thread, you still have another thread to CYA.
Yes.
Because nobody wants that to be a problem.
Nobody wants to see your A.
See what my A. No, they don't. Nope. All right. So we are going to see that finished seam along the bottom here in just a moment. What we do need to do once we have that. So here is the top of my bag that's kind of done.
You want me to do this one too?
Sure. I don't know how well my lining pieces are lining up, but
okay.
Go for it. So now we have the bottom of the bag sewn together. All right. So what that is going to do is keep everything in line for the rest of our steps, to be perfectly honest. Once you have that, I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit, going on to the next card while she's sewing that one together for me. Is it lining up okay?
I can trim it. Yeah, you know, that's the nice thing about trimming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So here's this pocket, and she would have just sewn that in at the bottom. What we would want to do now is take that edge and baste or chain stitch, all right, and take that whole side and just keep that pocket in place. So as you're going, that front of the bag is going to be a little bit thinner, right, because it's going to elastic in a little bit. But as long as everything lines up, that's the main thing. If you feel super comfortable that you don't have to do that, you can skip that stitch.
Absolutely.
By all means, if you are an advanced sewer and you're like, I can totally make that work, then go for it. Totally make that work. Take one less step. But they are recommending that we do that. So I can certainly show that, but I don't think that's super important.
No.
Nope. All right. So now we have this beautiful bag and we are all set. We've got it sandwiched and we've got our pocket stitched in place.
Yes.
All right. So what we need to do now is we need to take, and there's multiple ways you can, if you have instructions, you've probably already read that. There's multiple ways to put the side seam together.
Yes.
But we are going to make it just super easy. We're going to sew a seam.
Yeah.
And so that is on the inside. So we want to make sure that our insides, so
our inside.
Pretty side. That's, so the outside needs to be inside,
yes.
is what we are looking at. And we need to leave a 1 inch gap at the bottom. So how I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to start an inch
Do you
below.
want 1 or 2?
Yeah.
Since we got a few layers there.
You could talk while I sew if you want this
That's
time around.
right. So the instructions recommend that you kind of baste the sides together or sew a seam there. You are going to finish this with a 4 thread later.
But you need to finish the casing, the straps.
The straps.
So I'm going to,
so she's
what I'm going to do is
sew.
I'm going to start from the bottom and I'm going to go 1 inch down
Yes.
before I start sewing. So don't,
Yep.
it's much easier to sew off with the chain than it is to stop in the middle of
Absolutely.
something. So I'm going to start at the end that I need that
so
gap
we
in.
need to leave a gap in the bottom so that we have a place to
tuck in the strap.
The strap. Yep. So the backpack handle part needs to have a space for us to tuck in later. So that's what we're doing right now is we're going to get ready and we're going to we're put that in. And instead of starting at the bottom, because like she said, on this particular style machine, it's going to be easier to start about 1 inch into the bag from the bottom, 1 inch from the bottom,
Yes.
and then sew up towards the top.
And you want this to be approximately 1/4 inch because your next seam is going to be more like a 3/8 inch. So you want this to be inside of that final stitch so you don't actually see it.
Yes. Do. Yeah, put your glasses on, Lisa.
I can't see the marks on the front of the stupid foot.
So you can see she is just sewing a seam about 1/4 inch away and not sewing over her wonder clips because that would be bad.
That would be really bad. That would also be very talented.
Yeah, it would be really hard to do that.
And I'm sewing all the way off and then just getting rid of that. So basically I have 1 inch open. Can you see that? Nope.
There you
go
go.
farther. I have 1 inch opening still at the bottom, which once we place our straps in, they will feed through there and then we'll stitch our final stitch.
Yeah.
And that'll hold that nice and tight. Got one more.
Yep. She's got one more to do. And
it's not lined up.
That's what happens when we
That's
don't
what
use
happens
pins.
when you have the lining and you're not using
That's right.
pins.
So while she's getting that clipped in, Bev asked, can we repeat the groups to sell Babylock sergers? So if you are on Facebook, there's a Facebook group called Buy and Sell Babylock. And you can sell your Babylock sergers on there. Because I'm nosy. I just like to see what the stuff is going for. So that's why I'm part of it. Not because I'm like trying to hawk Babylock stuff on there. So that's not why. Sometimes I'm just curious. And it's nice to be able to give people an alternative of a place that they can actually go to sell their stuff. So it is called,
we're always happy to take your trade, but
that's right.
We want you to do the best you can.
Babylock, and it is a Facebook group. And they do have some rules that you have to abide by, but it's a great place. And the stuff doesn't usually stay on there long because
it's out.
Babylock sergers are hot. They are not one of those commodities that sticks around a lot, especially when you have a deal. And we live in a society where everybody wants a good deal. And if you've loved something for a while and you're ready to move on, it's great to be able to give somebody else an awesome deal. And the nice thing about Babylock sergers is there are so many resources online. If you don't have a dealer or you sell it to somebody and they don't have a particular dealer, there are just so many places online that you can get help and watch videos.
All right. So I kind of have a bag now.
You kind of have a bag.
Yep. And again, I didn't put a pocket on this guy, so that's why you don't see one.
That's why
I didn't put one on there.
Yes.
So it's not mandatory.
No.
So I pre-made my straps.
Yes.
So that is the part that we're at.
Yep. So should we show let's show making the straps?
We did that.
We did that.
We did that.
Yep.
We're behind.
Woo-hoo. Yes.
Or we're ahead.
Belt loop binder.
Which way does that go? Are we behind or ahead?
Ahead.
I don't know.
Okay.
All right, so belt loop binder. This is awesome. I absolutely love making this, and you can use these for so many things. It doesn't just have to be for drawstring bags.
No.
Or for belt loops. Imagine that.
But there are 2 sizes, and we're going to show you how this works. It is, like Lisa said, it's a fantastic tool, and it is a lot of fun to use. And this is what we use for our straps. And we've used it to make straps for all kinds of different things. Aprons.
And if you've come to Sip and Serge before, you've used, but the larger one we used before. So this is the 3/4 inch.
3/4 inch.
Here it comes. Maybe. So we're going to show how to use the belt loop binder. We're going to start with the attachments and how you actually get that on the machine in the right position. It is available in 2 different sizes, both the 3/4 inch and the 1.5 inch. Today we are going to be using the 3/4. Other things that you'll need to have available before you start are your attachment screws. These came with your machine, so you will definitely need those. They do not come with the foot. They come with the machine, so you don't get new screws every time you buy another foot. On your table, you have a set of screws, holes, I guess, and we're going to line that up with the one closest to the machine, and we are going to insert right through that metal into those 2 screw holes. And you do want to use both, not just one, because one would allow you to have wiggle room. So you do want to make sure that they're both there. This will slide left and right. And what we're looking for is lining up with your first 3 notches on your foot. If you're using the standard foot, if you do have the chain cover foot on, then it would be basically just the ones that are on the foot. You would only see these. But we want to be centered on those 3 notches that are right there imprinted on the foot. We're going to get as close as we can and put that in place. When we do a test sew, we'll check and make sure that the alignment is where we need it to be. To actually stitch on this, we are currently threaded for a wide cover hem. So we have needles 1 and 3 threaded, and of course our looper. You could also do a triple, which would mean you'd have all 3 needles in and threaded. The instructions are very nice. It tells you, let me see if I can get that a little better in the view. It does give you a guide as to how to thread and also what sizes to cut of your bias strips. When you take your strip, beautiful 7/8 inch wide strip of fabric here, you want to get yourself something easier to start to feed with. So we're going to just fold that tip down, basically in half there, hot dog style, wrong sides together, and then clip backwards. What that will do is give us a really badly cut point, but it will work. And that's the piece that you're going to insert into the binder. I'm going to go ahead and put my foot up so that I can get that right underneath there. I'm using tweezers to push this fabric through. You want to make sure that everything is staying nice and flat, and then just continue to push that fabric in until it comes out the other side, hopefully all folded as you need it. This is wanting to can't see the other side. Let's do this so you guys can see too. So here is my piece. All right, and once I get it through, I'm going to pull it out so that it is sitting underneath my needles, because I want to start with my needles in the fabric. So I need to have that pulled that far out. All right, just gonna put the foot back on the machine here. Try not to get my threads in the way. So I now have my fabric underneath here, and I can lower those needles right into that fabric. Once I have that, I want to loosely hold on to this. You don't want to tug. You don't want to push. Let the machine and the binder foot do the work for you. So we are just going to lower that foot now and let it get a little bit in there. You don't want to go too fast. Once you get a little bit out towards the back, you're going to want to turn and look and make sure that you have good loop retention and that both sides are being caught in the stitch. We don't want to have a flappy side coming out because of course that won't stay together. So that looks really, really good. And we're going to go ahead and finish off this small test strip that we have. All right, so there is my beautiful strip. You can see how nice that looks. And we have a nicely caught all the way down, which is what we're looking for. So there are some additional things that you can use this binder for. If you would like to do a binding just like what we did, but you want it to be a little bit stronger so that it can support more or just be a little bit heavier in general, you can actually add ribbon in. You just need to make sure that it is the correct size to slide through the belt loop binder and fit inside the binding itself. You can also use an elastic, which is basically the same thing, and it's going to be that same technique. And that would be, this is a stretch, so for a bathing suit strap or something to that effect, or even just a strap that you need to have elastic in that maybe doesn't go on a bathing suit. So I'm going to set that guy down, and we're going to show you how to insert that in. This is obviously a bright ribbon. If I'm actually doing a project, unless I want to see something a little bit more bold on the back side, I would want to blend the ribbon in, but you can do whatever it is that you would like. So I already have my fabric trimmed here, so I'm going to push that through, and we're going to feed that forward until we have the fabric underneath the foot and right where those needles are going. A little bit farther. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my foot and my needles. So now I have the ribbon literally tucked in right underneath and centered underneath that fabric. And again, I'm going to just loosely hold those and let the machine and the foot do its work for me. Want to go at a nice even pace, and again, don't pull or anything on that fabric or the ribbon. You want to let the machine do its work. And then back here you can see that that is nice and tight in there. I can't actually even see that. Sometimes you can if you get a little bit more of an uneven area, but so far my ribbon is completely hidden behind those beautiful stitches. And here we're coming to the end. And there you are. You can see that is nicely tucked in, and I have that beautiful stitch on the front.
All right, so pretty simple, right? It's really straightforward. The foot really does do all of the work.
It does.
So that elastic, super easy. Everybody that's scared to have to put elastic in something, you no longer have to be. It's literally so simple. And, you know, not just straps. There's lots of, you know, it could be ties for an apron like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It could be actual belt loops if you were making those for whatever reason you needed to actually make belt loops. I've never actually had to make those, but
no,
I certainly have a lot of scrap right now that I could make them with.
Yes.
We made a lot of these. We've got just a few. This is a really cool, so, you know, you could spend, I forget how much that is at Vera Bradley. How much is that? Like 15, 20 bucks?
I was going to say $15.99.
Or something like that. It is a lanyard made out of beautiful fabric. So you can pick whatever fabric you want that to be.
So,
and then just add in
the little lobster claw.
A little claw at the bottom of that, you know, something with a D-ring or whatnot that would be easy to sew on. I think you said you did actually tack that on with a sewing machine.
I did. The only part that I used the sewing machine for was the little part right here,
Where
I
you
did
folded
a little
it over
yeah.
and actually attached that so that it would hold onto that cloth.
I did like a little box around it so that it would hold in place.
Well, gee, Pat, you certainly could. I don't know that it would, you would have edges. You know, it would fold the fabric, but of course it wouldn't, you would have the edges. I don't know that I would recommend it, but you could, if you want to.
I don't actually think it would come out right because of how that it folds to the top. So it probably, it just wouldn't feed through.
I don't know how it would feed. That's true, but you could certainly try.
Yes.
But it's not, I wouldn't recommend that, but you could certainly try if you had something specific that you were attempting to do. You know, if you were using a smaller ribbon, like with the larger binder or something like that, that was still getting caught in all 3 stitches, that might work, but keeping that centered would be super hard.
Right.
So,
well, and like I said, getting it to feed through because of
Yep.
that whole mechanism folds the fabric and it feeds through from the bottom.
So it's grabbing hold of that ribbon and pulling
and pulling it in because
Yep.
it's in the bottom and it's encased, so it's coming
encased.
through. If it's on the top, what's going to happen is the stuff on the top is going to be here, and the bottom is going to keep going.
But there's no feed up.
There's no feed up at the top. No, it'd be too much in there. It probably would be a mess. And the needles probably, it wouldn't look, the stitching might not look that great. Might be kind of hard to find a perfect needle that made the stitches on that look perfect.
Yes, agreed.
What if the ribbon was 7/8 wide as well? That would be fine. So you can fill.
It would. Yeah, that would tuck it, and then yes. So if you had an actual 7/8 inch wide ribbon, you could use that even instead of your fabric if you wanted to.
Absolutely.
And actually have that work.
So I'm just gonna the elastic one here. You can see the ribbon fills almost the ribbon. The elastic
almost completely fills that space.
Yes, it's the end of my day. Totally cannot find my words anymore. I'm so sorry. But yeah, you can see it. It literally takes up basically the whole space. So as long as it will feed evenly through the tip of whatever felt loop binder you're using.
Spit it out.
That's right.
You got it.
Can do it. So
yes, very, very cool. I would like to make note that the instructions say to cut that on the bias.
Yes.
So do you always have to cut it on the bias?
No, you do not, but you may get varied results.
Yes. So like I'm sitting here playing with this. This one was cut on the bias, and it actually has some stretch and give to it.
Yes.
Where the ones that were not, don't.
Right.
So if, you know, depending on what you're making the straps for is going to definitely determine whether it matters or not. But if you buy a foot or you get the foot kit and you look at it and you go, no, they didn't say anything about that. Honestly, I don't, if I don't have to, I don't, because I can get a lot more strips out of a lot less fabric.
Yeah.
Without, but if you need it.
So the bias would wear better.
Right.
This lanyard was actually cut on the bias, but there is shape flex
inside of it.
So I shape flexed the fabric first and then cut the strips.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't want there to be
a lot of stretch.
Any stretch in there, and I wanted it to be like a little bit, just to wear a little bit better. The theory behind it would be it would wear longer. Bias does hold up longer.
Yep.
Of course, it's not going to matter in the casing of a bag.
Nope.
Because you'll probably, I mean, you or I will have a new bag before we run out of before we wear through the casing.
Yep. So let's talk straps and what we actually use this for when it comes to your bag, because we are approaching
the end of our bag.
Yes. So it says in your instructions that depending upon, you know, which size you're making, how many yards of this you need. And again, this isn't actual yards of fabric. What do you need?
Do you have our bodkin?
I had it. So
there
yes,
you go.
ma'am,
I was going to say.
I'm like, oh crap. What did I do with it?
How did we lose
Where
it?
did I put it? Oh no. So this is the strapping that I had already made, and I have a whole bunch, right? So I did sew all of the pieces together, and then I fed it all the way through. So I don't have multiple pieces. I have one big
continuous piece.
One continuous piece. So what you're going to want to do is take your one continuous piece and find half, I did this once already, so it's all tangled. My bad. I mean, it's like superbly. I did a really good job.
You did.
I did. I'm very talented in tying knots, evidently. And picking up random threads. All right, so zoop. Here's my half. I need 2. All right, so you need 2 pieces of this. So I'm just literally going to cut at that halfway mark. And then I'm going to set one aside and I'm going to work with one first. I don't know. If we can make that work. That work?
Probably.
All right. So if you want to put that one up there, we're going to talk turkey on these straps.
Okay.
So the way that these straps work, we're going to have 2, right? Because we just cut those in half. We want one to go through the front and then through the back with the ends coming out one way. We want the other one to feed in the opposite direction. If you don't do this, your bag will not cinch. It will always be open. All right.
No matter how hard you try.
Doesn't matter how hard you pull, it's still not going to cinch. So you want the first strap to start at the right, go through the front, go through the back, and come back out the right. And you want strap number 2 to start on the left and go through the front, come around and go through the back and come out the left as well. Once you have those 2 pieces in place, you want to try to kind of make sure that they're the same length. So you're going to need to pull and tug until you get an equal length on each side. Do you have those somewhere? I don't remember. I don't think we
didn't do those.
We didn't do those. So what we're looking for is once we have them full, we want the piece to go from here to here. And that's going to be a little bit different size depending upon which size bag that you're doing. So the child size in the pattern, you'll see that it says 15 inches from here. So where it comes out of the casing to the end of that, you want those to be 15 inches. And on the teen size, you want it to be 18. On the original bag that I did, so the black one, I cut mine at 22 because I was like, oh, that's about the same jump. They're way too long. So stick around 18 inches if you're doing the larger size. So basically that that piece would be a fat quarter in the front. If you're using that Laboo size measurements, then you need to probably use around 18, maybe 19, but I wouldn't go too much past that. So again, we're going to come from the right through that casing. I'm using a bodkin, which we showed you guys earlier. I've just got it clamped on my strap. I do want to make sure that I am keeping everything flat in there. I don't want it twisted inside my casing. And when I go around the back side, I want it to also be that same direction. So I am going to just kind of hold here and pull. Could feel it twisted. I just couldn't feel where. And then I want to get, you know, about half of it through. And then when I come back, I want to make sure that it's nice and straight. And I'm going to go into the back of the bag. And you can see that I am keeping that nice and straight. Unless you want a really funky feeling up top. If you want it to lie nice and flat, that is very important that you do that.
Yeah, it could twist later on, but it's
it
nice
could
to
twist,
start.
but at least start that way so that when you sew the pieces in at the bottom, they're not all twisted.
Right.
Otherwise, they will never be straight. Over on the other side.
Yes.
All right, so I am all the way through over here, and you can see I'm extremely unbalanced over here. I'm flipping it all over the place. So all you have to do on that is hold this side so that it doesn't kind of cinch in there and pull. And it should go all the way through until you get approximately the same on each front and back. All right. And then we're going to repeat that going the opposite direction. So let me find my bodkin. and we take piece number 2. I hope this is making sense. I taught a cinch sack bag class eons ago, and for whatever reason, this totally stumped a lot of you guys. So that's why I'm actually showing it.
So now you have to go in the opposite side.
Right.
So the 2 tails are coming out of that side. So
then I need to go to the other
she
side.
needs to start on the other side. Yes.
So here's my tails. That's telling me I already started on that side. Now I need to start over here. And so we're just going to go again through one side first and come back out the other. And it doesn't really matter whether it's the front or the back first. You just want to make sure that you're starting on opposite sides with each of those pieces. And then once you have that done, we're going to flip the bag again, and we're going to tuck these into that 1-inch opening. And that is how you're going to finish the bag.
So while Lisa's finishing that,
while I'm playing,
right, I'm going to just pull up the specials again so that you guys can see those, because we're having so much fun making this bag, but we
know it's also time for you guys to go find dinner or whatever
things
else.
Like that. So here is just a reminder that we are having some really great Sip and Serge specials. So there is a free bundle with the purchase of a Babylock Triumph, Accolade, Acclaim, or Victory. If you are looking for a machine that has air threading for both the needles and the loopers, you are going to want to look for the Babylock Triumph or the Babylock Acclaim. The Triumph is an 8-thread serger, so it is a combo machine. The Acclaim is a standard 4-thread serger. And then we also have the Accolade and the Victory. Both of those are air threading for the loopers, no air threading for the needles. The Accolade is an 8-thread serger. The Victory is a 4-thread serger. And we have those great bundles. So everybody's getting a foot kit. The foot kit is different with each machine because there are different feet that are available for the machines. And then everybody is getting an inspiration guide, which is a manual that's kind of written by people who actually sew, rather than the guy who just writes the instruction manual. And a 2-year Love of Knowledge membership, which is essentially Babylock professionally recorded videos that are on all kinds of things. So there's a ton of serger videos on there, but there are also a ton of videos on every other type of technique that you can possibly imagine. We didn't.
So this is an 18-inch.
That is an 18-inch piece of fabric.
That's what I'm using.
Yeah. So she's clipping or she's cutting down her strips over here so that she can get ready to put those in there. So we do have these specials here. And we also have a few specials for those of you who might already own a serger. So if you already own a serger and you would like to get yourself one of those the feet kits, they are going to be on sale. Babylock is pretty particular about the type of pricing that we can actually verbally show you and spew to everyone. So unfortunately, I can't give you exactly the prices of those, but I can tell you that they are all at least 40% off of the MSRP price. Some of them are a lot more. And then all of the regularly priced Babylock serger feet are going to be 30% off for the month of April. So if there is an individual foot that you're trying to get your hands on, those are going to be 30% off. If you already purchased a serger from us, you know that you normally get that 20% off.
Yep.
So this is a little bit
of a bonus.
And then again, just a reminder, we've got those kits for those other machines. So I'm going to flip back over here to us. Maybe
not. Dun, 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 dun.
So
all right, so I have my straps and I got creative on my measurements. So I've got everything pulled and I'm ready to go. So at this point I need to turn the bag backwards again. So I want my outside to be on my inside.
Yes.
All right. And the reason that I want to do that is we actually have to 4-thread the sides of that bag actually closed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our straps and we're going to reach inside the bag and place them through that 1-inch opening that we had originally. So the part we didn't sew shut at the beginning when we put this bag together. So we're going to just reach over here and poke those right through. You guys can kind of see my straps are coming through that. There's a lot of thread going on over here. All right, I've got 2 pieces. I definitely would recommend clipping those.
I even have a red clippy.
Even have a red clippy. It's been a long day. All right, and then I'm going to repeat that on the opposite side.
The suspense.
I know, I'm so sorry. I'm trying. It's always worse when somebody's paying and watching, right?
You, yeah. She's just trying to make sure she doesn't have them all twisted.
I am trying to make sure that they at least go in straight.
That's right.
Because we can certainly twist them up later on, but I want them to start straight at least. Because I want to use this bag.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be annoyed by that.
No.
No one wants to be annoyed.
No one wants to be annoyed. That should be our motto.
So don't annoy us. No, I'm kidding. That should be the motto. No. All right. So there we go. I've got those poked through there this time. And what you also want to do is make sure the excess strap is nowhere near the side of the bag so that you're not going to.
What's so funny is when you said that, there was a gal that came into the shop one time and she said something, and she said she told Hayden that I didn't have a sense of humor.
Oh.
You know, you can't please everybody all the time.
No, you cannot.
And sometimes you just don't gel with people, which is okay. I mean, you know, it's one of those things that happens, but
yeah, I mean, we
funny.
don't gel, you know,
Yeah.
Some of you might like me better and some of you like my Kerr better, and that's okay.
You
That's,
all might like Hayden better.
You
so
all, and why wouldn't you? I mean, we do. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I've got that ready to go. All I have left to do is a 4-thread serge from this edge to this edge. And when I turn it inside out, I can go like this. And I
totally missed it.
Let me do that again. Hang on, I'll back up a little bit. All right, so this will be, I turn it back inside out, and then voila, we can draw string, and we have a
backpack
finished
that
bag.
is bigger on the outside, bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Bigger on the outside than it is the inside. That's how my life feels right now.
It is super duper big. So that's the bag.
That's the bag. Yes.
So,
whoosh. Whoosh. All right.
All right, you did that one.
I did that
so
one.
All that's left is to say
Woo.
thank you for spending your afternoon with us. I
Yes.
hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something. If you were sewing along, I don't know. I hope that it was
entertaining
for you and that you were able to kind of do all of that. Did you answer that question? Yes, we did. Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if they were new or not.
Yes. No, I don't think so.
Yes, I should, maybe.
Off topic. Can you tell us about that charming quilt on the wall behind you? The two of you, is there a pattern for that? Yes, yes, yes. So there is the one that has the houses.
So let's start all the way over here. This guy over here is Love Notes, which are in these boxes here.
Mm-hmm.
The next one here is called Make Yourself at Home. These are all 3 Kimberbell quilts. And the little bit of one that you can see here is called Vintage Boardwalk. And we have patterns, fabric, and embellishment kits for all 3.
Yes.
So yes, absolutely.
Not necessarily on our website, but you can definitely.
Not on the website, but we do have them in
call.
stock here at the store.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
again, thank you so very much for spending the last couple of hours with us. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us a call if you have questions. Come on in if you want to play with the machines yourself.
Absolutely.
And
the store will be back open again tomorrow
morning
at 10
o'clock. And we'd love to see you.
Absolutely.
And if not, you have the rest of the month to take advantage of these specials.
Yes.
So today's only the 2nd.
It is.
So we plan to do this all month. Since this is virtual, it's kind of weird for all of us. Normally it would be, this is the special today. But since that's not how life is right now.
No, it's different.
You have the whole month. So
yes.
Think about it, ask some questions, come in and play, and we will find the right one for you.
Yep. This video will stay up for the month
Rest of the
month. April. And the technique videos that we showed, they will go up on YouTube.
And they will stay there.
Yeah, and they'll be loaded to YouTube individually this weekend. Maybe not tonight because I don't have good internet to do that at home, but probably tomorrow.
Depending on how tomorrow goes.
Yeah, tomorrow
But
morning, but soon.
So the individual videos will be there soon and will stay there.
Yep.
This video will be there immediately.
Yes.
And will stay for the rest of the month.
That's right. And it'll be on both our YouTube channel, which it is a little bit easier to find on the YouTube channel. And it will also be on Facebook. And depending on if Facebook is your friend that day is whether or not it'll be easier for you to find.
Very true statement.
I don't know how they plan that out. They don't ask us.
They really don't.
They don't.
And they don't give us the option.
But
moving things around.
Yes. We had a lot of people talking or viewing and asking questions today. And we had so much fun. And we can't thank you enough for spending your 2 hours with us.
Absolutely.
We really enjoyed it. And it's not the same as being in person.
It isn't, but we really appreciate you guys chipping in and giving us some comments so that we kind of feel like it's a group thing.
That's right.
We talk to ourselves a lot, don't we?
We do. And today's video was really all about showing you all of the great fun features that the Sergers have. So if you don't already have one, or maybe you've been too afraid to touch it, hopefully you won't be afraid to do that. If you already own a Serger and you have this, you've already purchased a kit, you still want to get a kit, they're still available. Once you purchase the kit, you can get the pattern. I know Annie had some specific questions about actually doing the bag. This video today was more about
techniques
what this was
and how the machines work.
Right.
With a side Benny of we're going to make a bag while we do it.
That's right.
But we are absolutely happy to answer questions.
That's right. If you have specific questions on how to make this bag, we can definitely address those, either privately in the store, over the telephone, or whatever. We can do that. So just to let you know, we aren't trying to leave anybody hanging.
Not even a little bit.
In a little bit. But we hope that you have fun and you watch this and enjoy your weekend. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
We will be here
Enjoy
Saturday.
The chocolate bunnies.
That's right.
Yeah.
And back to normal on Monday.
Back to normal. We will be here.
Yeah.
Well,
it's Good Friday.
I will.
Yeah.
Today. She won't be here Monday.
Yeah. That's it.
So thank you so much.
Those feet deals, are they also for older Sergers? They're yes.
So the Accolade foot kit will work on the Evolution and the Evolve, I believe. The Triumph will also work with the Ovation. The Ovation, if you have an Ovation and you get that foot kit, you would need to pick up the table. I don't know if you noticed while I was sewing, there are 4 screw holes on the Triumph table. There's only 2 on the Ovation. So all of the feet, the new big double bias binder feet don't work on the Ovation table. You would need a new table for that.
Yes.
But it will work. All of the feet will work the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 6-foot kit will actually work
for
on
everything.
Yeah. So absolutely.
Yeah. So if you are unsure, just let us know what you have when you come in.
We will find the right one for you.
We'll make sure that you have the right one for us.
And if you already have the 6-foot kit because you bought that or you got that with your purchase, don't forget all of those other individual feet are 30% off all month, which you can't get a better individual price point. So
absolutely,
don't forget about that.
Yep.
So thank you again for spending your Friday afternoon.
Your Good Friday with us.
Good Friday.
Yes, it was a great Friday.
Bless us. Have a great one.
Bye,
you guys
guys.
Take care. We'll see you next time.